Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and it has been far too long since I've done a what not to wear type of video, so that's what we're going to be doing today. In this video, I'm going to be covering 9 things that grown men should never wear from a woman's perspective and fashion expert here. And obviously, I know you want to get all your fashion advice from someone who looks like they're about to go churn butter or milk a cow. Now, I do also want to say this is just my advice and opinion that many of you come here for. If you don't care about that, keep doing your thing and wearing what you feel comfortable and happy in. It's not that serious, okay? Number 1 is ripped or skin-tight denim. No more ripped denim, no more skin-tight denim, and definitely no ripped denim that also happens to be skin-tight. Double offense. Ripped denim to me just tends to look very juvenile, and I would recommend swapping for a pair of denim with no holes in it instead. My grandpa always used to make fun of me for wearing denim with holes that were there on purpose, and as I get older, I understand that a little bit more. And skin-tight denim, I'll say, leave a little room for imagination, guys. I hate to be graphic, but if I can see the outline of what you've got going on, you need to go up a size or swap for a different style and cut. I also want to mention the embroidered or bedazzled or studded denim because those also have got to go. Next one here is below the knee shorts. These remind me of the early 2000s when everyone just looked bad. I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it. It's giving MTV Welcome to My Crib. And it's time to retire them. Now, I'm not telling you to wear Daisy Dukes. Please don't, but opt for a pair that hit right above the knee instead. It's going to make your legs look a lot longer and be a much more flattering fit. The next is cheap hair product or no product at all. While clothing is probably the first thing you think of when you think about style, it's equally as important to pay attention to other aspects such as your personal grooming, including your hair. It's all in the details, guys. Now, I will say, if you're bald, you can ignore this point altogether. So simply not using any products or buying those cheap drugstore products that teenagers use can undermine your entire look. All of you classy grown men who are watching know the importance of buying quality products that salons and barbers would use. Using the right hair product can elevate a man's appearance and enhance his overall style. And you might not necessarily think your hairstyle could impact your overall look as much as it does, but I promise you it's a game changer. If you guys have been around on my channel for a while, you know that I always recommend Forte. So if you're one of my guys watching who has very fine or thin hair, you're going to want to use a lightweight product like Forte's styling cream or paste that are going to add volume and texture instead of heavy products that are just going to weigh your hair down, make it look lifeless and flat, or the cheap drugstore gel that's just going to make you look crunchy. We're too old for crunchy. These are going to give you a touchable, light to medium hold. They're great for guys with thin or fine hair who have trouble styling or adding volume because they're so lightweight. Regardless of your hair type, your style, or your achieved outcome, Forte has a product that will be exactly what you're looking for. They have so many different products to choose from. I really, truly cannot recommend them enough. So if you're interested in checking out Forte, I actually have an affiliate link down in the video description, and you can use my code Courtney Ryan to get 10% off of your order. Sticking to the grooming points here, my next one is wearing too much fragrance. Now, I know some people are into the overspraying, and to each their own, okay? But if you're asking for my advice, I would say don't overdo it. Unless you want to smell like the 15-year-old who keeps Axe in his locker and sprayed a little bit too much before heading into math class. And with a lot of fragrances, a little goes a long way. I normally do 4 sprays, and that is plenty, especially if you're wearing something like a niche fragrance. You can figure out what works for you, but you shouldn't smell like you bathed in the scent, okay? A fragrance should be discovered, not necessarily announced. If you leave an elevator and I can smell you at the end of the day still in the elevator, we have an issue. In the summer especially, you don't want to be wearing too much fragrance because it's incredibly overwhelming. It is sticky, it's humid, it's just going to weigh you down and also be very distracting and overwhelming for the people around you as well. And if you want to come across as a classy gentleman who smells great and not the 15-year-old who just doused himself with Axe, trust my advice. My next one is loud logos. Bad. They are all bad. I've been saying this for a while now, and I have not changed my mind. It's tacky. Gucci belts, anything covered in logos, the American Eagle sweatshirt from high school, It's time to retire these. Trust me on this one. Do yourself a favor and just get rid of it. Opt for something solid instead. This quiet luxury thing is in for a reason. Understated items and this less is more approach really goes a long way. I've been saying it forever here. Basics make the best outfits, and this still rings true. So instead, my advice here would be to stick to the basics. Do solid t-shirts or shirts with a tasteful pattern. You can even utilize textures in fabric instead of getting something with a super loud logo. Next up, we have square toe shoes. These are clunky and look like you are trapped in the 90s. It's so funny, actually, my dad bought a new pair of dress shoes for my wedding, and he was telling me the guy at the store told him not to get the square toe option, and I said, praise the Lord for that salesman, because it's just an outdated style, but he had no idea that was what was cool when he was, dressing up back in the 90s and the 80s, so he was thankful for that salesman, and so was I. Next is studded belts. Not much to say here besides it's giving teen angst. So if that's not you, then don't wear it. Get yourself a nice leather belt here. I would say black or tan is the safest option color-wise. Go with whatever matches most of the things in your wardrobe, but I think every guy needs a nice leather belt, not a studded belt, not a belt that is necessarily canvas with like all the loops on it. Something simple. Again, less is more here. You really don't need to overthink this, but don't get the studded belt. My next one is wearing a chain specifically outside of your shirt. A lot of girls like a chain on a guy. This is true. A lot of these young e-boys wear them now, but they've honestly been popular for quite a long time. But I think outside the shirt, respectfully, you look like you are going to ruin my life. It's giving major F-boy, like the king of all F-boys, and maybe not in a good way once you're a grown man, right? I think there's an age, maybe not an age, maybe just a point in life where it's time to tuck that little chain inside the shirt. If king of all F-boys is not the vibe you want to give off, either tuck it inside your shirt or ditch the chain necklaces altogether. And honestly, while we're on the topic of accessories here, I think over-accessorizing is a mistake I see a lot of men make. I love Mr. Johnny Depp, for example, here, but I wouldn't necessarily get my accessory tips from him. So just something to consider. To each their own, wear what you like, but if you're asking for my opinion, that is what I would say. Even some other call outs here would be guys who wear watches and then bracelets like all the way up their arm, or guys who wear like a ton of chains around their neck. It's just too much. I know I've said it a million times, but I'll say it again. Less is more. Next item on the hit list is sandals. There are a few exceptions here that I would like to mention. If you are at the pool, the beach, or you live in a tropical climate, I can let these slide. But it's going to be a hard no from me on the sandals outside of those three categories. Sandals with socks included here. So instead, I would go for a loafer, an espadrille, or a casual sneaker. I think any of those would be a much better option than a sandal with socks. There's a lot of different looks this can go. It can be very street style with like a slide and a tube sock, or what they call grandpa sandal. It's like the leather sandal with all the straps on it, and a dad sock, and neither one of them look good. You're either going to age yourself a ton there with the grandpa style, or you're going to look like you are trying to be 18 still. Neither one is a great option, so I would opt for those other things instead. Flip-flops, I hate, again, unless you're at the pool or the beach or you live somewhere tropical, those are the only times when I personally think it's okay. And listen, there's no need to be butthurt here. There's no reason to get your feelings hurt. This is just fashion. It's fun. I'm sure I wear a lot of things that you guys don't like. I'm sure a lot of you hate this. Again, I look like I'm going to go milk a cow or churn some butter. So if you don't want to take my advice, that's fine. I wear Ugg boots sometimes in the winter if I'm running errands, and they're hideous, and I know that. My fiance thinks they're hideous. Everyone thinks they're hideous. I know most of you probably would, but I wear them anyway out of ease and comfort sometimes. So it's okay to have those items in your closet that you reach for comfort or for a certain, specific activity. Crocs, I hate the way those look. But if you're out in your backyard with your kid and a sprinkler, wear the Crocs. If you're gardening, wear the Crocs. It doesn't matter. I think it's really about knowing the time and the place to wear things to. So it's all right if you got some ugly things in your closet, because you know what? So do I. So guys, that is all I have for this video. If you liked it or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.